So here, it says that for each pair of triangles, if the triangles can be shown similar, give the method and write a similarity statement. If there's not an information to show that the triangles are similar, simply write none. So here we're not being asked to write out a full explanation. We're just asked which one of the three methods can you use, if any of them. So for this first one, we've got that these lines are parallel. If those lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. Here, angle J is congruent to angle EAM. And down here, angle S is congruent to AEM. So it says write a similarity statement. The similarity statement is where you say the two triangles are similar in a particular order. Triangle JMS then would be similar to triangle. You got to match up the parts. J matches up with the angle at A in the little triangle. So it's AME by angle similarity. All right, let's look at this next one. This time we don't have corresponding angles. What kind of angles do we have in this picture that we know are going to be congruent because of the parallel lines?
Vertical.
All right, the vertical angles are going to be congruent. That's absolutely true. Here, these two angles will be congruent to each other. Good. What kind of angles are going to be congruent because of the parallel lines, though? Yes, Carter. Alternate interior angles. And you can pick either pair. It doesn't matter which. I'm going to say angle L is congruent to angle S. Why do you guys keep looking at each other so much? I don't understand. It seems weird to me. All right. So that's enough now to know that the two triangles are similar. So triangle LIN, you can name the first triangle any way you want, but you got to make the corresponding parts match up. What matches with L and the other triangle? S. And what matches with I? D. And again, I know that because of the angle marks, so it's got to be SDN by angle similarity. All right, let's look at this one. This time we don't have any parallel lines, but we have something we had in the last one. What's the same thing we had in the last one? Stetson, you okay? Yeah. All right, how about getting it up to where you can see? What do we have here that we know is always going to be congruent? Yeah, vertical angles are always going to be congruent. So I know these two angles are congruent. And I already know the 65s are congruent. So triangle, I'll name the first one DAV, is similar. What matches with D? S. And A doesn't have any markings on it at all, so that matches with I. And the angles at V are congruent to each other by, again, this is angle similarity. If you're not given any side links, it's always going to have to be angle or nothing. All right, let's take a look at this one. These two triangles overlap one another, so I am going to take them apart. Peter, you okay? So I know the two right angles are congruent. But one pair of angles isn't enough, so I need something else. Is there anything else? Yes.
Corresponding
Um, which ones are you talking about?
R and H.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you which angle H. Do you mean this one or this one?
The one, so would it be SHC?
Okay, yep. So the question is, those are corresponding angles, but what has to be true before you know the corresponding angles are going to be congruent?
That line SH and line RI are parallel.
Yes, and do we know that? Okay, so we're going to have to get something else. Stetson?
C, angle C is the same.
Yeah, it's the same angle C in both of these triangles. So triangle CHS is similar to triangle CRI, again matching up the corresponding parts by angle-angle similarity. All right, let's look at number 5. Since I don't have all three sides, I know it can't be side, side, side. All right, so I'm going to start by looking at any angles. What angles do we know are going to be congruent here, Grant? Okay, what kind of angles are K and A? Okay, I agree with you. They are alternate interior, but they're only congruent if we know the lines are parallel. And there's no indication that we know the lines are parallel. If we did, we would absolutely be using that. So there's got to be something that doesn't involve parallel lines where we know the angles are always the same. Yeah, the vertical angles. These two angles are congruent. So that gets me one pair of angles. That's not enough. Let's look at the sides. This can't be side, side, side because I don't have all three sides in both triangles. Can it be side angle side? Because that's my only other hope at this point. Do I have the sides on both sides of this angle? Do I have this side and this side? No. I don't have the right sides. I've got sides that aren't around the angle. So this is none. To be side angle sides, the sides have to be the sides that make the angles, if you want to think about it that way. All right, let's look at this next one. I've only got one pair of angles, and I don't have any hope of finding any other angles congruent, so it's not angle-angle. It's not side, 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 because I don't have all three pairs of sides. It's possible it could be side angle side. Do I have the angles around the sides around angle O? Yes. Do I have the sides around angle P? Yes, but what do I need to check? If they're what?
15 over 9 and then 11 over 6 and 160.
Yeah, I need to see if the sides are proportional, is the words that we would say for that. Are the sides proportional? So I'm going to check, you're exactly right, I'm going to check 15 to 9. Both of those are divisible by 3. That's 5 to 3. And then I've got 11 over 6.6. I'll multiply both of those by 10 to get rid of the decimal, so that'll be 110 over 66. Let's see, 110 and 66 are both divisible by 2, so that's 55 over 33. What are both of those divisible by? 11. And that's 5 to 3. So they are proportional. So triangle JOS is similar to triangle EPH by side angle side similarity. All right, let's look at the next ones. So do I have any congruent angles at this point? Yes, which two? T and S. Good. Well, now I got to figure out what the other angle is. Let's see, 78 and 72 is 150 from 180 is 30. So now, yep, I know angle R is congruent to angle Y. So triangle TRI is similar. I got to match up the corresponding parts. T goes with S, R goes with Y, so N must go with I. By, what's my reason here? What is it? Angle-angle similarity. All right, this one is similar to one that was in your book for homework last night. Since this is an isosceles triangle, the two base angles are the same, so this is 75. And 75 plus 75 is 150. From 180, we already did that just a second ago, this is 30 degrees. And I've got, these two angles are congruent, and I've got the sides on either side of them are in proportion. I don't know what the ratio is, but I know that it's going to be the same ratio. So triangle JAS is similar to triangle MIN by side angle side similarity. All right, for number 9, those two overlap each other. So I'm going to take them apart. And I know this is 15 and 20. And then SA will be 15 plus 5, which is 20. And SD will be 20 plus 6, which is 26. And it's the same angle S in both triangles, so angle S is congruent to angle S. Well, let's see if these are proportional. So I'll pick the biggest side over here, 20. Match it up with the biggest side in the second triangle, 26. That reduces to 10/13. Then I'll take the smaller one with the smaller, 15 over 20. Reduces to 3 over 4. Are these triangles similar? No. There is no method that will prove those similar because they really aren't similar. Because the sides are not proportional. All right. So let's practice these. So for this one, I'm given that angle A and angle I are right angles. Yes? Yeah. So angle A is congruent to angle I. They're both congruent to each other because they're both right angles. That's not enough. Are there any other angles we know are going to be congruent? For like the fourth time, yes?
MUA and DUI.
Very nice. Angle MUA is congruent to angle DUI because why? Vertical angles what? Vertical angles are congruent. So, triangle AUM is similar to triangle. Make sure you make the corresponding parts match up. IUD by angle similarity. Now we need to figure out how long ID is. So if we're setting up the proportion, we've got to set up something with UI, right? What does UI correspond to in the other triangle? AU. If you've done this part correctly, you can use that to help you set up what parts go together. So that's a 6:9 ratio, which is 2:3. So 2/3 is equal to, what matches up with ID? AM. So that's got to be 8 to ID. Cross multiply and we get 2ID is 24. Divide and we get that ID is 12. All right, one more example. If memory serves, there's one almost exactly like this with different numbers on the test. So since they overlap, I'm going to take them apart and put everything that I know on them. All right, it can't be angle, it can't be side, side, side. I don't have all three sides. Seems unlikely it's going to be angle, angle, because, well, I don't have any angles yet. But what angle is the same in both of these? Angle S. So angle S is congruent to angle S by the reflexive property. This next part is the part that is the easiest one to write incorrectly, or students write it incorrectly more often than I would like. So we need to see if the sides around angle S are proportional or not congruent. So SU to SN is equal to 20/35, both of which are divisible by 5. and that's 4:7. Then I'm going to check, and I'll do it on the same line, because if they're equal, I'm just going to stick an equal sign in between these two. SH to SI is 16 to 28. Both of those are divisible by 4. That's also 4:7. So those ratios are the same. Please do not write something stupid like SU is equal to SH. SU and SH aren't the same length. Or that SU and SN are the same length. That's certainly not true. There are no congruent sides in this. But I have enough now to know that triangle SUH is similar to triangle SNI by side angle side similarity. The nice thing about this is I know the ratio. The ratio of the sides is 4:7. So 4/7 is equal to UH over 12. So you're already done with this part? I don't know why you're putting it away. So that 7UH is equal to 48. Divide both sides by 7. 7 goes into 48 6 times with 6 left over, so it's 6 6/7. All right, I have a worksheet for you. Please remember that you need to have your calculator in class tomorrow. We're going to start doing the trigonometry stuff, and it gets really nasty without a calculator. Difficult.
Can you post it on poll?
I'm sorry?
Can you post it on like that and a calculator?
Post what?
Post like that we need a calculator on facts.
Why do your parents not believe you, or?
No, just like because I'm not gonna take that. I know I have one. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'll put it on tonight's assignment.
Yes.